Governments all around the world are trying to fight against global warming and climate change. By adopting renewable energy sources, we are taking steps to move in this direction. Wind energy is one of them. Wind energy offers many advantages, which explains why it's one of the fastest growing energy sources in the world. From being cost-effective to sustainable, wind energy is a way to address global issues. So are you interested to know how this entire process works? How are these huge wind farms installed, and what goes into them? Want to find out? Then stay tuned till the very end. Welcome to the new video from the Construction Technique. In this video, we are going to talk about the wind farm installation process from scratch. But before we make it to the video, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Before getting into the entire process, we need to understand what wind energy is and how this all works. Wind energy is the energy produced by the movement of the wind. This is one of the fastest growing energy sources because of its many advantages, though it depends on factors that might not be available in some regions of the world, which makes it challenging to install wind farms. Wind turbines are used to generate wind energy. A wind turbine turns wind energy into electricity using this widely available renewable energy source. The amount of energy that a turbine can harness depends on the speed of the wind, air density, and swept area. So the process starts with digging of trenches. These trenches need to be dug for laying the electric cables which run from the turbine and control the unit and inverter. The ground cable, voltage cable, and the optical fiber cable are laid down, and then a layer of sand is spread over it. This is the first step that has been taken after opening the trench. A thick layer of concrete foundation is laid down, which ensures the turbine can withstand extremely strong winds. Is the basis of installing the entire wind turbine. The entire team laser concrete disc takes the entire space and covers the base of the foundation. An anchor cage is created with high tensile strength and good wear resistance bolts. Then this anchor cage is placed in the center, which starts to lay radiating rebar that extends out in a sunburst shape. This looks like, as its name suggests, a huge gigantic cage. There's a flat surface at the top that is flush with the surrounding ground level. The deck extends to the edges of the concrete base. Now comes the part where it requires talented workers to fill the entire cage base with concrete. The cage is filled with concrete, except for the opening of the turbine. Next is the erection of the tower and turbine. The tower plays an important role in the construction and its cost efficiency. The turbine is important because it was created to harness the power of print and turn it into wind energy. As you all know, when the wind blows, this turbine's blades spin and capture the energy of wind, which triggers the main shaft of the turbine. If we see closely how this works, the air pressure on one side of the blade decreases when the wind crosses it. There is a difference in air pressure across the two sides of the blade, which causes lift and drag. The lift is stronger than the drag, which causes the rotor to spin. This turbine is further connected to a gearbox to spin, which senses the energy to generator and converts it into electricity. This converted electricity for the traves into a transformer where voltage levels are adjusted and matched with the grid. Depending on the turbine size, this may require the use of a crane. Only accounts for 15 to 20% of the total cost, which includes the manufacturing, transportation, and selection process. This is highly important to rotor blades, which includes a tower, rotor and rotor blade, nacelle with drivetrain, electric equipment, etc. As the tower provides support to nacelle and rotor blades are made of tubular steel, concrete, or steel lattice. Due to the wind's varying power, the tower must be built to absorb the heavy static loads applied. After the production of wind turbines needs to be regularly maintained to reduce failure, so it is checked and then sent to the site for installation. These turbines in the 1 to 2 MW range typically use 130 to 240 M3 of concrete for the foundation. This entire cage structure is finally filled with concrete, and now it is hidden and one can only see the huge structure of concrete. As we mentioned, blades are really important to harness wind energy. LM Wind Power introduced the LM88.4P in 2016 as the longest, most advanced wind turbine blade in the world. These blades go into a rigorous testing process and are then further transported to the site. Each company has its techniques and vehicles for the transportation of these huge blades to the sites. Wind turbine blades are fabricated from fiberglass using a mold, similar to the way many yachts and boats are made. The root end of the blade is a composite of fiberglass embedded with metal blocks. These wind turbine towers height between 212 and 262 feet. Now, these towers can be mounted in different ways and create different types of tower frames, like lattice or truss-type towers, standalone towers, and guide towers. Lattice or truss-type towers are climbable and can be assembled on site, which requires concrete, a larger base footprint, and possibly guy wires. Standalone towers are generally more attractive but have height limitations and require extensive foundation and concrete work before installation. Guide towers are relatively inexpensive and can be easily raised and lowered. These wind turbine towers consist of 2 or 3 sections, which are usually assembled using heavy-duty cranes. The height of the wind turbine tower depends upon the diameter of the turbine, which means this needs to be as tall as the diameter of the turbine. Next, the nacelle is attached to the top of the yaw bearing that allows it to rotate as the wind direction changes. Do you ever think of those people who are performing these high-intensity tasks? These people are known as wind turbine technicians, also known as wind tech, who installs, inspects, maintains, operates, and repairs wind turbines. These wind techs must also be able to use mechanical skills and be capable of climbing ladder systems, often 260 feet high, to heights of the turbine nacelle. How scary would that be, to climb and stand hundreds of feet in the air? What do you think? Do share it in the comment section. It was the fastest growing occupation of the decade in 2016, and employment numbers are expected to double over the next 10 years. The trend is to favor cleaner and more environmentally friendly energy sources. Now, coming back to nacelle, this is usually assembled at the factory and must be lifted to the top of the tower using specialist lifting equipment. The nacelle is the part of the turbine that houses the components that transform the wind's kinetic energy into mechanical energy to turn a generator that produces electricity. Most nacelles have common components such as a hub, rotor, gearbox, generator, inverters, hydraulics, and bearings. Nacelle includes the yaw system, main shaft bearing, gearbox, generator, and electrical control cabinet. These components are mounted on the structural frame of the nacelle. The nacelle frame is made of 2 main parts. The front or main frame of the nacelle is made of cast steel and holds the yaw system, gearbox, and main shaft. Another part includes the generator, transformer, and electrical cabinets, which are secured to a rear frame made up of welded steel. Once the yaw system passes its rotational test and its motors are installed and pass their functional tests, the 2 halves of the frame are joined by heavy bolts and spring pins. After the process is finished, it goes under the test to ensure a high level of efficiency, later sent to the site and further assembled to the tower. Then the rotor is bolted to the main shaft, which spins the generator to generate the electricity. Lastly, the blade is assembled and now the turbines are ready to generate electricity for a longer time in the future. Wind power systems continue to grow throughout the world. According to the Global Wind Energy Council, there was over 60 GW of new wind power installed capacity and production across the globe in 2019. Leading countries for wind power include China, the United States, and Germany. This is not just a clean fuel source, but a sustainable and cost-effective way of generating electricity that not only offers job opportunities, but a better future. So I know it has been a long video since I have detailedly talked about the entire wind farm installation process from scratch. Thanks for watching. More interesting videos are coming, and if you don't want to miss out on any of our videos, then smash the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you will always be updated.